Hello, welcome back to another season of the Yami Shibai podcast, or Yami Shibai discussion. This is
Either
not
or.
the official podcast,
I was considering releasing the audio.
but it's not the official podcast for Yami Shibai. This
I-
is not endorsed or authorized.
Woo, skirting the gray line. Woo.
But we will take these down if you want.
Oh yeah.
So I'm your host, Ghosty, joined by the illustrious Germ. I was waiting for him to introduce himself.
I wanted to
but
mess
he
with
has
you.
not. Hey, host duties are difficult, man. Don't put that on me. Don't put that
I'm
on
sitting
me.
back, relaxing, and I'm just pushing all the responsibility over your end.
That's
Let's
how it's
take
going
this.
season.
Let's take
This
this
is my
train
show
off
now.
the rails. Woo.
This is setting a good precedent for season 3.
4.
Season 4. Yeah, I thought that seemed. I was like, we must have done more than that. Well, I hope I watched the right episode.
Well, I hope so too. We'll find out in a minute. What was I gonna say? I forgot we were starting a new season.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like I don't know why it didn't occur to me how special
Were you
this
shocked
is. Yeah.
At the start of the new episodes, or do you mean just like right now you realize?
When you said it, I'm like, oh wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's a big deal.
Yeah.
I've got many thoughts on this. The fact this is a new season coming up.
Ooh, let's look at this. Are you ready?
Let's get right into it. Step right up and have a look. It's time for Yami Shibai.
But where's the title?
Ba-ba.
Where's the title?
I know there's gonna be some crazy special effects.
No, there's no
Episode
special
title.
effects.
Season 4, episode 1. I thought it was gonna like fly into the screen or something.
Yeah, Season 4, all new. Nah. If I find something that's worth doing, I'll do it. But at this point, same old, same
I
old.
think simple is best.
Do you want to say the episode title?
I already did, so we can move right along. We join our main character, a salaryman, on his way home when he comes across some children looking at something across the road. It's a dead cat that must have been hit by a car. It's not gruesome, but it is a drawing of a dead cat, so a warning before we show this image, you may want to cover your eyes now.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
But we're not showing you
No.
that, so here's a silly cat instead.
I
Jared's
spent
going
so
crazy.
long finding a good image. There was like
There's
most,
definitely not enough cat memes on the internet, right?
I spent so long looking at cat memes. So long.
I
Longer
think you
than
just
any
wanna
other
look at the cat
slide.
memes.
Like any other-
Hey, it paid off. It's a good cat meme. Thank you.
Oh,
for
if
your
you're looking away
efforts.
because it's gruesome, don't worry, look back. It's okay.
Please appreciate the work you put in.
Okay.
Flashback to the episode. Everyone feels so sad. The businessman decides to bury the cat. Some teenagers pass by and say, if you help it, they'll follow you home. Which
Yeah,
is
what a
an odd
weird thing to say.
about a dead cat.
Yeah, maybe it's a mythology from Japan or something. It's just such an odd thing to say.
I think it was just like referencing stray cats in general. I don't know.
Maybe.
And why does he look like an angry old man? Who knows?
He looks so grumpy.
What did the salaryman do?
Like, it's so weird, right?
Yeah, it's strange. Next scene, it cuts to like an actual photo, which is kind of weird. And it says, the kids thank the businessman, and we get a real image of a makeshift cat grave.
So this didn't happen often in the past, but this will happen more and more often as we go through the seasons. I don't know why.
Budget constraints. It looks like you can really tell they were just like, get a popsicle stick, write something on it, take the picture outside the studio.
Yeah, I bet this is like, you know that little like square tree that's right next to a parking lot? I bet they just
Yes.
went out there and just like...
Scene done.
I appreciate the style though, because I've never seen anything quite like that.
The sepia tone is kind of classic
No.
horror movie.
Speaking about the trees on the side of the road, did you hear about that Japanese auto company a few years back?
This is very vague. No.
It's not vague in Japan. There is a big scandal over this. But
Mhm.
one of the things they would do is they would require their the owners of their the car lot sellers to kill the bushes, grass, and trees in front of their lots so people could more easily see the vehicles.
Interesting. Yeah, I never heard of this.
They would be docked points if they were blocked.
Interesting. I guess it also exposes that it's a parking lot, so people are like more likely to park there. Is this
No, this
a
is an
law or is
auto
this a
dealership.
weird?
You think they'd be able to see the cars anyway, right?
Yeah, that's strange.
But this is not the only scummy thing that business did.
What else did they do?
So they would it wasn't the customer, but it was the auto insurance agency. They would bill them for a lot more than what was actually wrong with the car. Like they would go in
Uh,
and make stuff wrong for the picture for
That's
the insurance agency.
that's classic mechanic stuff.
But this is like the entire, like this was the number one auto dealership in Japan.
Well, I guess he gets a number one by
Killing plant
doing
life.
some sketchy stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
But there was
maybe killing plants works.
a lot more, but like I remember the plants and the insurance thing was a big deal because the insurance rates in Japan were weirdly high from around the
Hmm.
world, and they didn't know why, and that's one of the biggest reason why.
Oh, interesting.
No.
Well, car dealerships are sketchy in general, I guess.
So
Don't
they're
trust
closed. They're closed down now.
them. Wow.
But so the big investigation was done on all like the major auto sellers, and the top 3 were all found to be like large fraud and questionable stuff going on. Can you imagine being the 4th and being like, what?
I'm sure the 4th was up to some sketchy stuff too. I'm not gonna lie. They're probably like, yes.
I'm
worked that
sure,
out."
but in the report I saw, nowhere near as much as the top 3. And could you imagine the position it would be in? Of the top
Yeah, that's
5
frustrating.
auto insurance agencies, we're the only clean one.
Some good publicity, I guess.
So anyway, back to the Shibai.
Back to the episode
Yeah.
from our parking lot diversion later that night. Oh, good transition,
Yep,
actually.
yep.
The man enjoys his TV while drinking a small head-sized beer when he hears a kitten's meowing.
But look at that beer compared to his head.
He's thirsty. He's a
That's
thirsty
like
boy.
2 cans would be his head. Like crazy.
But no, he assures himself it couldn't be, so he heads to bed. But just as he was falling asleep, he hears the meowing again.
Meow, meow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And it's definitely coming from in the room. And worse, the sound is coming closer. But he's paralyzed with fear. He can't move. Until finally, it's right next to his ear.
Meow, meow.
What a dignified kitty cat. It starts to lick his face, but he's still unable to move, and strains to try and see what's licking him. Something's just not right.
Meow.
He keeps repeating, something's not right. I think something is strange. Like, it
Something's
goes on
just
for like
not right about this situation.
a weird amount of time.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, there's a cat licking your face. The licking continued until he finally caught a glimpse of what was licking him. Not a cat, but a glowing-eyed, pale, grainy woman. She starts to speak about being happy to meet him, but why did you find the cat and not me?
The end.
And the ending is much lower
so-
production value this season.
It's so happy-go-lucky too.
Oh, he's with the cat. I didn't notice that. Maybe they'll keep adding pieces from each episode.
Unfortunately, no. I
Is it
don't
with
know
the cat
if
every episode?
yeah, the cat is in every ending credits, and there's a few more things too. I'm gonna switch between them, but I don't know if the cat inspired this or not, or if that's just a coincidence.
Could just be coincidence.
Yeah.
I mean, it is in a box there. The
And so-
implication is that he.
Came
Go
across.
ahead.
Oh, I just gonna say that I grabbed from season 3 the 2 heads speaking to him.
This is not part of it anymore, right?
Nope, that's me and you.
Oh yeah, good,
speaking
good.
speaking our gospel.
I'm the orange one.
Yami Shibai.
Hmm. What
What's
did
up?
you think of this episode?
I don't want to get into opinions yet, but I'll give mild spoilers. I didn't hate it.
I'm kind of worried for the rest of the season after this episode.
You know what just occurred to me? We never did the slide further on for your score. Oh well.
Oh, we'll figure it out when we
You
get
know,
there.
I'm sure we can do simple math. uh so for people who didn't watch the episode, 'cause I know there's a few of them who don't. It's the narrator speaking about saying a lot of stuff as this episode goes on.
Normally, the narrator's voice was different from like the opening person's voice.
And also like commonly it wouldn't like sometimes, but not commonly would we get the entire episode of the narrator describing what's going on.
Oh yeah, normally there's actual voiceovers.
Yeah, like usually it's the person we follow who's like, "What's going on? What's going on?" Like that. But this time it was more like the narrator walking us through what was going on.
I didn't like the narrator's voice, first of all.
Yeah, it's a different. Yeah, like you said, it's different narrator this time.
And secondly, it just kind of generally felt lower budget.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one narrator voice, nobody else. The weird uh, real life photograph,
Mm-hmm.
and then so many of the images were still for a really long time, but with this like grainy effect over top of
Mm-hmm.
them to give them like something to keep your attention, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it did have a. There's no concrete evidence online, but I'm sure there was a budget cut between last season and this season.
It almost feels like it could have been made by like one or two people,
I
depending
mean,
on
it
the
would have
amount of
taken a
time
long
they had.
time, but yeah, I don't think it would have
I
been
would have
done.
used
Yeah, sorry.
more real life photos if I
Like it must be a budget saving thing, but I don't mind. I think it's an interesting like artistic touch.
That's true.
Like I think of it more cute than distracting.
On the actual story of this episode, it's another classic salary man does something good and then something terrible happens to him. I
That's
feel like
true.
there's many episodes like that.
One positive thing I can say about this episode is it felt more like an urban legend than a lot of the episodes do, because the narrator sound was like saying what was happening.
That's true, yeah.
Whether it benefits the episode, I think it's going to come down to person.
I didn't really understand where the woman came from. I guess maybe
Mild spoilers. I didn't grab. I don't know if I grabbed. I don't think I grabbed any of the comments. Many people were confused by the ending of this episode.
yeah, I went after the ending, I went back and actually watched through the part where he's on the road again to see if there was like some hidden dead body or something in the background, but there's nothing.
No, I think that would have been better.
And for the cat, is she supposed to be holding it or is she like using it like a
So
puppet?
my interpretation of that, because it's hard to tell, is that was what he thought was there. So it was showing that to us.
It seemed like she was holding it to me.
I don't think so, but it's not like stated obvious if it's one way or the other.
I do think it would have been really cool if at the end of the episode you go back and there was a body that you didn't notice because
Maybe
the
just
cat
like a
was on
hand
the
in the
screen.
corner or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of a miss on that one.
Yeah, I agree. Let's see.
Other
Anything
than
else?
that, there's not really that much that happens in this.
No.
Other than like the urban
One,
myth thing.
I did notice one weird thing. So in slide 14, so in the episode I said he was paralyzed and couldn't see what was coming.
Mhm.
That's not what the narrator said. I changed it. In the episode, they said his eyes adjusted to the dark.
Oh yes, that's right. That's right.
Wouldn't they
Even
be?
though he was laying in bed.
Yeah, wouldn't they already be adjusted to the dark? Like
Maybe he just turned off the lights when the cat came in.
maybe, but then that all would have happened so quickly.
I don't know. I think my eyes would have adjusted to the dark in the amount of time this scene took. Like that's the other thing is like there's so many still scenes in this episode. Going through it like this now is actually not that much different than watching the actual
A
episode.
little. I think it's less
Like,
engaging.
there's one scene after this, after this scene, it's between these
You
two,
know
I
what?
guess.
It does kind of look like she's holding it.
Oh yeah, it's like she dug the body up and she's wiping it on his face or something.
I hope not.
But there's like one scene between this one and the last one where it's just him for like 10 or 15 seconds. It's really long.
Yeah, I think it's two
Totally
images.
still.
They switch 2 or 3 images. They switch because the cat's like licking his face. Yeah,
I was like, come on, let's move this along, because like he's like, oh, something's not right, like for like 10 seconds. I was like,
this series has always been guilty of that thing. But
this episode.
I was saying how urban legendy this episode feels, but the twist at the end, like super urban legendy. I could see someone telling something like that at school.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Just to creep you out.
Yeah.
Oh, they helped a dead cat, but the girl was there or something.
So some fan theories about why the ending is so relaxed. Do you think parents complained and they had a chill ending to help kids calm down?
That would surprise me, because this still feels upsetting to a child just from the image.
Yes, but to help out. Just have some chill music so it calms their little scaredy cat hearts down.
Oh, there was no jump scare this time.
No, I actually appreciate that. Like, I don't think every episode should have a jump scare.
That's unusual, actually.
Yeah, I didn't notice that either.
So maybe.
Yeah. And that's all my notes for this episode. Anything else to hit on before we go?
Let's see what other people say.
Hey, so the comments. I'll start. Senpai that in Gnome Zoo.
Ignores you.
Is it ignores?
Yeah.
Ignores.
Oh, ignores.
Yeah.
Ignores. Okay, there's a typo in their name.
That explains all the online games now. They all created them as a sort of isekai vacuum so that you wouldn't be disturbed at night by angry schoolgirl ghosts. We need the wages to be at the peak energy for their long, grueling days.
It's a metaphor for gacha games.
So I thought this comment was so nonsense. I had to look up what wages was.
Oh, really? You've never heard that before?
I've never heard it
in
before.
Their cages, Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
Wages in their cages.
That's where my research led me. In their cages. Yep.
Could never be me.
Like it's such an odd comment.
I feel like they just wanted to say wages.
Maybe.
It is funny though, the idea that some metaphor for something disturbing your sleep.
I feel like you could fit wages in without saying video game. The video game isekai vacuum. Like it's anyway, let's move on. It's an odd comment. I loved it.
Buff Potato said, "This sounds like a classic case of sleep paralysis." Kind of does. This story sort of got to me because I've had a similar experience. One night after watching the movie Insidious, I had went to bed early after eating a large meal. Once I drifted off into
and that's where the comment ends.
Oh
no.
Weird.
Oh no.
What?
We need to save this Buff Potato.
Confusing.
Yeah, there was no follow-up.
I guess sleeping after a large meal makes it more likely you're going to get sleep paralysis. I've never heard this before.
I have actually heard that before.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, like it disturbs your sleep so that you don't sleep as well, so you're more likely for sleep paralysis. But I think that's very fair. I think this is like definitely a sleep paralysis episode.
Yeah, it's a lot like it, especially the not being able to move while the cat's
I added that. That wasn't in the episode. It never. At least it didn't say he couldn't move.
It did. It did say something. It said, he said he couldn't make himself move for some reason. I remember thinking about it specifically. Maybe
I'm wrong, but I thought I added that. That's fine though. Let's continue. As Zishu. This has happened to me before many times. I feel a dark or evil presence next to me while I'm sleeping. Sometimes I turn to see what's there and see something horrific. And then 279 Dunview says, the more you think about it, the more you attract those things. I usually just don't think of anything and nothing really happens.
I think the first person is experiencing sleep paralysis and just doesn't know what it is.
This comment came after the other one. So if they've read the comments, they would have come across that. I don't know if they would.
That's true.
Yeah. I will say the second person I find interesting because it's one of those things where do you think you're attracting those things or do you think you set yourself up to experience that more likely?
I do think if you think about it a lot, you're more likely to notice something. Like you've probably experienced that before where you're laying in bed and you hear something that sounds wrong and you're like,
I'm not getting up.
This happened to me just a few weeks ago. I heard something hit my window on the 25th floor of this building at like 4 a.m. and I was
lovely.
Like, and then I was like,
a wall woman?
Opening my curtain.
Wall woman?
Went back to sleep.
Yeah.
It was the empty pack of cigarettes.
Were you studying? Oh, someone must have thrown it out of their window or something. Like
fell off their balcony or something.
Yeah.
But I was like, 4 a.m. I'm not opening my curtain. No.
I don't know. It could have been wall woman smoking on your porch, if you remember that episode.
Even more reason to keep the curtain closed.
Oh yeah. Okay, here you go.
Shadow Wolf X, I think we know this guy, said he couldn't find a ghost. Duh. Huh?
So it's the theory that there wasn't a body, but the ghost was there with the cat.
I see.
No.
Possible.
Cloville?
Good enough.
Okay, so season 3 was awful, but I'm hoping for this. That wasn't actually too bad if you don't understand. He killed some woman he knew, mom, wife, girlfriend, daughter, and didn't bother to bury her, so she was using the dead cat to torture him. I don't know if that's what the creators were intending, but I love this theory.
It's a good interpretation.
Yeah.
The way this person presents it, like it's like obviously it's kind of invalid. I don't think that's
I don't think it's definitely what's going on. I also like the theory was good enough to get it through my filter, but I don't appreciate the negativity either.
Yeah, and I'm about to crap over this whole episode, so I disagree with this person that this looks better than season 3.
That's fair. That's fair.
So not much Chase said, I think the added narration is trying to reflect watching a real Kamishibai paper play. Okay, that's what you call the thing.
Remember we researched that like the first episode?
So long ago.
I know, right?
While I respect the creativity, it is for sure breaking the immersion and scare factor. That cheesy stock anime outro isn't helping very much either. This is my opinion also.
Yeah. I think it's a very fair opinion. Like for me, it helped me more like imagine it from like school days, like someone telling you like over this, like the, I'm trying to remember the tables. I keep wanting to call them dining room tables, but they're not dining room tables, but like the
desks.
Sure, desks. I can go with that.
Cafeteria.
Cafeteria, like tables, like someone like whispering it over.
But I agree with them with the narrator kind of brought me out of the experience a little bit.
Completely understand.
Especially where their voice was kind of off to me. Like it just sounded weird.
I also felt like it was unnecessary because most of the things were very obvious.
Yeah, that's true too.
Yeah. So XJ47 says, as someone who loves cats, being haunted by a kitten is about the least scary horror scenario I've come across. Lol. It does sound very cute.
Yeah, that's true. I was thinking the same thing when the cat was licking him. I was like, is that really that horrific?
So this is years down the line. The episode of Yami Shibai that just came out last week was about a cat too. But instead of being like trying to be scary, it will break your heart. So look forward to that in like a few years.
That's the worst. I don't want to see that.
And like from Yami Shibai, I wasn't expecting it. I'm like, oh.
Try to get you.
This is supposed to be horror. Why am I crying?
That's so cruel.
It's so perfectly set up to be a horror story, and then it's just sad. And
oh, that sucks. Not looking forward to this.
Oh, it hard. It hurts.
Space Unicorn Rose said, "Oh no, the storyteller's voice doesn't sound so hot anymore."
I
Sad emoji.
A lot of people didn't like the narrator's voice, but I chose this one because they said hot, and I thought that was hilarious.
That's why they watched the show, I guess. I
He
think it
said,
sounds kind of weird now. It sounds kind of corny, but I also don't think it sounded hot previously.
I
So,
know. Man, that voice so hot. So, Ghosty, when you see the next one, you're gonna be thankful that it just happened to go in the order we did it.
let's see. Oh, thank you. Thank God.
I was going to apologize if you ended up with it. If, in case you're listening to this doing like chores or something, it's a super long comment. So enjoy
This is like a video essay.
just my talking for like almost a minute. Ed's on ALV21 says, after reading the comments, I think I got this wrong. I thought the cat guided the ghost of the woman to that guy so she can be helped. That cat can pass to the afterlife because she was buried. But, for the woman's words, she was left to die in the road because she was hit by a car or murdered and left there to die. She can't move, so maybe the cat, I know people in Asia don't help each other because they think that will give them bad luck, guide her spirit so they can tell that man where her body is and give her a proper burial. She didn't seem to want to hurt him. I interpret her words like, why did you find someone who helped you in your last moments and treat you with respect while I was left to die alone like I was nothing? End scene.
Whew.
A
That's
lot
probably
to-
a more accurate interpretation to me is
Yeah.
the how come you helped them but you never helped, or I was never helped.
That was more my interpretation as well. But there's a lot of decompact there.
It's
So
a full essay for sure.
the theory that the cat guided the woman is a fascinating theory. I don't think it's necessarily wrong.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe they meet in the afterlife or something.
And I think it'd be cute if the cat wanted the woman to be helped, and he helps the woman, like, find the body or something. But the part where they said people in Asia don't help each other because they think it will give them bad luck, I've never heard that before.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
I've heard in China the laws, or like the protection laws around helping someone, aren't as good as they are in North America. So I've heard something similar, but not in Japan.
Yeah, I don't think it's generally. They said it like it's a broad truth, and I don't think
Yeah.
that's true.
And I think that'd be a very nice ending if she's just looking for him to help her get proper burial.
I think the hitch in this plan is that the cat didn't lead her to the guy. She's holding the cat. up
She
to
could have
his
picked it
face.
up.
But how would the cat lead her if she was holding it?
Meow, 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 meow.
To me, it's more like she pulled the body out of the grave and was like, I'm going to go mess with this guy.
Maybe. I hope it wasn't the body, because I was avoiding showing the cat's body at all cost, because I don't think it's very nice.
That's fine.
Because it never
more
occurred to me it
horrific
could be
things
the actual cat's body. I thought it was like the spirit.
It did have its tongue out and it was meowing. So.
Yeah. Who knows? I just thought that was an interesting comment, even if it was hecka long. Make their own video just on that.
Dedication. This is like a Yami Shibai discussion podcast.
We need to get that person on. Call the agency. Get their contacts. Okay, the themes and metaphors of the episode. I don't think there's anything too strong for themes and metaphors.
Yeah, I guess just be nice to each other.
Yeah.
You jerks.
I wanted to talk more, before we get to our personal scores, I wanted to talk more about the theory that he murdered someone and they were coming after him. I don't think anything suggests that.
Yeah, I don't think anything suggests that either. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I don't think
there's no context.
Yeah,
but...
I don't think it's a bad theory, but I don't think there's strong evidence for it to be like a contender for what the creators intended.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's valid, but it's not like the only way to interpret it.
It doesn't have strong footing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think there's much themes or metaphors. Like, be careful who you help.
I guess, or the opposite.
Yeah. Don't help.
Yeah. Oh, harsh.
Yeah. So our personal scores. What score did you give it?
I'm really worried if this sets the precedent for this whole season. Like the way it was all like static images. If this came out today, I would think it was AI generated.
Oh, wow, that's true.
So, and the story was so boring. Like there was one part where, like when the cat was licking his face, where it stood there, like the scene
Yeah, like
stayed
the
static
cat was
for
just
so
like,
long,
oop, oop.
and nothing was happening. Like it was just saying, like, "I don't want to look. I shouldn't look." So to me, this is a 1.
Wow, I think this might the second one.
It was not good.
Yeah. I feel like you probably gave, I don't remember off the top of my head. I feel like you would have gave what was that? Now Chan 1, yep. So this is your second one of the series. Wow, I hope that's not the president. Yeah.
It's not good.
Well, I gave it an 8.
Whoa. Wow, I appreciate your positivity.
I got a lot of enjoyment out of the episode.
Wow. What made you like it so much more than me?
I think I've already stated how it felt like someone like whispering to you over like a desk or something. Like this happened to a friend of a friend of a cousin of their friend.
Do you feel like my negative perception of it has affected your view of it?
Not at all. I was expecting a low score because you were hinting at it for a while, but I wasn't expecting a 1. Wow.
Get this crap out of here. I expect better.
So it ends up being a 9. Who would have thought?
Easy calculation, I guess.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything else to discuss about the score.
In the trash it goes.
So, the next episode is called Fish Tank. Where do you think this goes?
I hope it's better. But
that's what you're calling. Maybe it's gonna be better.
Maybe it's something to do with like when you're a wagey, you're being watched through like the glass, like you're a fish in a tank all day.
Oh, good theory. I thought you were gonna say the fish are watching the wagey going, "What a loser!" Oh,
no. You're the wagey and the cagey.
So you're right. There is a fish tank involved.
At least I got that one.
But nothing else is right.
It was a bit too specific. I should have gone broader.
But that's so funny.
I mostly just wanted to go first full circle on wages.
Oh, yeah. Bring that back. So I learned what wages are. We both learned that mice are inside, rats are outside.
We've known that since last season, at least.
Have you learned anything?
I think... Oh, I learned about scam car dealerships.
Ah, yeah!
I did not know. Now I know in great detail.
We're an educational channel now. New branding. Thank you for joining me, Ghosty.
It's been real. I'll see you next time.
And thank you all for being you. Bye.